Escorts here on Dire Bear Adventuring Company. Thanks for being patient with us. We're a little bit late on the start, but that's okay because we want to get everybody in line. You'll notice that JT is not with us this week. He had a really, really rough day, so we wish him a speedy recovery, and we will see him again next week. Let's dive right in. This last weekend was fantastic because I didn't do anything, and it was wonderful. I did get a new rig, so if you notice every once in a while, I'll have these circles in my eyes and my glasses. I'll try to keep my head tilted down. But that is the new lighting in the studio here, and that is a gigantic 18-inch ring light. How did I get these wonderful things? Through your support. So thank you all for being so gracious and donating with your subscriptions and bits and all those fun things. We appreciate all of it, and that's where all your stuff goes to, is upgrading equipment and things like that. So thank you all again for your donations and for your support and everything else like that. I keep talking about it, and we're working on making the cusp of a bunch of changes to how our Patreon looks. We're talking to people about... I'm talking to one person in particular. I'm staring right at the top of her head as she's looking down at something. About writing adventures for our Patreon so that they have something to run. The problem is I've just got to, I would say, find the time. It's not finding the time. It's me just making the time to put onto paper a lot of the adventures that I have. But we hope to have that going here soon. So huge shout out to Ray and a bunch of the guys from the Lords of the Realm there for DDO. If you want to get old school, DDO is free to play, and it is online. You can join the Thalanis server and play along with me. I'm on there often, and some of these other guys. And we have a lot of fun. We do a lot of the adventures, and we just try to plow through them as quick as we can, unless it's giant hold, and then we hate each other and hate the puzzles, and it's just 3 hours of us being frustrated. But that's DDO. Anyways, let's see. Coming up this week, we're doing a big push, so you'll see us out live at Liquor Express once again, as well as that's on Saturday. On Fridays at Lucky Dice Cafe, we are doing... I am not entirely sure. I need to talk to my other DM and find out what we're doing this weekend. But we will be doing that. As far as live tie-ins and shows and other things, we're actually kind of quiet on the front right now. I did get a notification that Dragon Con is still looking for DMs, so I may or may not see if the Dragon Con Online venue still needs DMs, and if they do, who knows, I might be there. We just finished up Gen Con the week before, and you guys heard me say that. Got the reviews back in Dire Bear Adventuring Company. We got stellar scores. Our friendliness rating was a 5 out of 5, so that was good. That's always good to see. A lot of fun. Definitely do it again. Look forward to it. Let's see, what else do we have going on? On the personal front, a huge thanks to the marketing manager and also my girlfriend, because I had this wonderful bag that I bought at Gen Con. My very first Gen Con, I bought a leather bag, and I had all of my dice in it. Some beautiful ones that people had donated to me and given to me over the last several years, and it came up missing. I would hate to think that somebody took it, but my thought is that if you need the dice, as long as you're playing D&D with them, more power to you. Enjoy them. May they always roll for you well. In the meantime, though, she said you need to have dice to replace it and something to hold them in. So she bought me a new bag, and I love the logo on it. It's a falcon, and like I said, it kind of matches with mine. So I may end up getting something like this done for my next one. And it is now loaded with click-clack math rocks. So a huge thanks to Jennifer for this wonderful gift. Love you. Thank you so much. And this big ass roll D20 that, like, I mean, you guys have seen, if you've watched me play before, I have some Eldritch dice. This is a regular one. This is the big ass one that I've got. And, I always call them my old man dice because they're pretty big, but this one dwarfs it even still. Just so you can see the comparison between the three of them. So that's a huge die. All right, enough about all that. Let's get into playing some D&D. So that was a short announcement for this evening. Oh, wait, no, I'm not done. Totally forgot. September the 15th, Rime of the Frost Maiden is going to be released. You can pre-order it now on D&D Beyond as well as at your local gaming store. The alternate cover looks really badass. It's got an owlbear face on the front of it, and it's like blue and silver and gold, and it looks really, really gorgeous, and that's the one I'm getting. In the meantime, if you check out D&D Beyond, over in the free section, if you'll go there, over in the quarantine resources, there's a bunch of free adventures, and there are some that actually lead up to the release of the book. There is one called Frozen Sick, and it's a free sample adventure for everybody, taking you from first to third level. We play tested some of the material for the introduction to Icewind Dale at D&D Live, and it was a lot of fun, and I really loved it. And there was Awakened Walrus, so you can't really go wrong there. But go ahead and check it out as you prepare yourselves for the coming book. And again, that is September the 15th, coming up just a little bit after my birthday. So go check out those resources on D&D Beyond. And as always, thanks to D&D Beyond for the use of all of their utilities and tools. You can create your characters, manage your encounters. There's a nice dice roll that has some really badass dice on it. There's magic dice that look like little panels of the numbers on there, and then when they disappear, they whoop into a black hole. The potion dice, which are the new ones out there, and they sound like a potion ball being rolled whenever you roll them. So go check those out. They're all pretty awesome. Let's see. We've got that going on. Yeah, I think that's it for now. All right, now that I think I've got everything covered, let's go ahead and recap last week on Diary Bear Adventure Company's The Escorts. They took to ship, and after a mostly uneventful trip, they finally decided to land in the city of Bazara. Bazara was a city that sits at the edge of the Hannock Waste, and it is a place of majesty and beauty and oddities and all manner of things to see and buy. Some jewelry was purchased, a new friend was met, and they are off discussing what it means to be Azamar, as well as these dark voices. Spells were sacrificed to replace with new ones, and the most important thing, and the thing that they left them in awe and wonder, was there as the light of the last light of day started to fade. A form swept over the city, glinting in copper, and you could see these large wings with scales that looked like copper pieces swept over the city and landed at the palace. Everybody in the city stopped and watched in wonder and awe. As soon as it was landed, there was a cheer that went up from the people in the crowd, and then it quieted down, and life seemed to return to new. As the last vestiges of light start to sink in the horizon, you can see that people are starting to close up their shop, rolling up the tarps to bring in their wares, locking and shuttering their doors and things like that. The last call for purchases. Soon all of the shops will be closed, leaving way for the restaurants and the storefronts that serve alcohol and drink and food left for you. The party as a whole is a bit spread through the market. Some of you are together, some of you are not. So we'll start. Tangaroa, you and your beloved Ezra, along with Ezra's possibly future stepdad, we're all jewelry shopping.
Oh boy.
If I'm not mistaken, you were all jewelry shopping together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tangaroa, a sight that you've never seen. A large creature with big wings that unfurl and shimmer like copper in the sun, landed up at the palace. The people seem to cheer, so you know it's not going to draw fear from them. But you have no idea what that was.
Should we go see what the commotion is about? Seems like that's an important figure in this culture. Maybe we should ask around a little bit.
Well, everyone seemed excited. They were cheering.
Maybe they'll give us sale prices now.
I'll let you ask first, Mello.
I mean, all right. I'm not a good haggler, but
Oh no.
So you're going to start trying to make deals like at the end of the day?
You want us out of your shop? You have to give us a deal. No, I'm kidding.
Post Sky Lizard sale, you know.
Sky Lizard sale. We noticed this thing. Do you guys give discounts after, like, AD, after Dragon? Is this the AD sale? All right, so what are you guys doing? Are you going to make your way back to the boat? Are you going to try to figure out what that is? Are you asking around?
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. I think we're going to ask around.
Okay. Asking around sounds good.
Give me some investigation checks.
Oh goodness.
Oh boy.
Just realized I forgot I lost a D20 under my bed recently.
Yeah, a 3.
You're doing wonderful.
Yeah.
16.
I got distracted.
Might be a dragon, might be a bird.
Might be a horse for all I know.
Look, I can fit it between my fingers. Okay, now it got a little bigger, so those fingers.
As we get closer,
If it was a fish, Kangaroo would be fine.
Yeah.
It's only this big.
only just big, we can take it. 8.
8? Okay.
Wow.
I rolled a 7 on the die.
I did get the best one then. 16.
16. You can see that a few people are willing to talk to you as some of them are closing up shop. You see one man waving you off. No more sales today. We are closing up. It is time for dinner. The suzerain has returned, so we are closing for the day.
The suzerain?
Suzerain, yes, the suzerain. You know of the suzerain, yes?
No, we're travelers and haven't seen anything. Was that what was flying above?
Yes, that was the suzerain, yes.
Can you tell us more about where it comes from, or maybe what it is?
He just looks at you as though you've just asked him his mother's age. And he looks a bit perplexed at your question, your line of questioning. He goes, "You are not from here."
No, we're not.
The suzerain is the leader here, the ruler, if you will.
Oh.
He leaves of the morning and then returns in the evening. He marks the opening of the day and the closing of the day.
Oh. That seems very effective.
And now we will feast.
I like feast. Let's feast. Should we help with the feast?
No, my family and I will feast. You will feast with your family.
No, we'll figure out a feast. Hey,
With
guys,
yours.
we get a
And
feast.
he looks between the two and goes, "Your sons? Daughters? Children?"
Yes.
Okay.
Not yet.
Have a good day. And he starts to continue to close up. Zora and Zastari, you were clothes shopping. It did not end in the normal girls' night out. Whether that be a disappointment or not, I don't know. However, you saw the same thing. And again, once the cheering seems to have stopped, you can see that people are closing up shops, and you are being ushered to complete any purchases so that they can close for the evening.
Do we go back to the ship? That was a dragon, right? I'm not completely hallucinating.
As far as I know, that's what the story said they looked like. Do we care?
We're just here to restock, from what I understand.
Like, my question becomes, do we truly care? If it's really not that important to what it is that we're doing, do we want to waste our time? We've already wasted plenty enough as is. And we have the entire Hannock Waste to go through once we get back.
Well, the group is prone for kind of wasting time. I mean, we could see where the others are
And hope that somebody hasn't freaked out over the fact that Ezra's not human?
a dragon just landed and they seemed perfectly okay with it. So,
Dragons are not Onis.
and Onis aren't dragons. If they're fine with something that big landing,
As the shops are being closed around you, you can see people are heading towards, like, there's a throng of people and they're starting to move through the market. You can see them carrying all manner of baskets on shoulders or in front of them. They have different things in them. Some have bottles and loaves of unleavened bread. Some have, different fruits and various things in there. Some have root vegetables and other things. And they all seem to be making like a procession towards like a central location. The other three, you notice this as well. That once the man left, you watch he and his family come out, and they're all carrying various items as though they're making a procession towards somewhere in town.
Zoro will kind of tap one of the ones kind of on the edge. Pardon me, where's everyone going?
It is time for the feast. Come, you are new. And you watch as there's a young woman. She grabs your hand and she kind of like, without even asking, without getting any consent, she just kind of starts dragging you along with her.
I just want to be clear. I'm not the feast, right?
She looks at you for a moment, perplexed, and then starts laughing, and it's a deep, honest laugh. And she's like, "No, of course not.
Hey.
Goat, lamb, plenty of fruits and vegetables and bread. There are many things to drink. Come, everyone.
Hey.
The suzerain has returned." And they start to...
Zastari steps behind Zora so that Zora's not alone.
I should probably... Axel, could you pass on that we're going to a feast?
Sure, love, but who am I passing it on to?
Oh,
The one that's
Weaver
on the
bless.
ship?
Whoever you can find, and probably Satiel and those on the ship, if there's anyone else on the ship.
And of course, there's people on the ship. Fine, I guess I missed the first of the feast. Ooh, I hear music.
I'll save you.
And he starts
I'll save you
flying.
something alcoholic.
You're a peach there. And he starts to fly away. And it is, sure enough, you can hear the sound of drums being played and whistles and flutes and all manner of different musical instruments. Are like, one will pick up a tune here and then you'll hear somebody else join in, and pretty soon it goes from being like a cacophony of noise to being like a fluid tune that seems to be moving now with the crowd. And now it's this raucous movement of people and song and dance and food and things like that. And the three of you, so all five of you, are finally swept up in this crowd, and you watch as it's moving. You can see that they are going down towards what appears to be the middle of the market, and it's the biggest area that is open. And as you get to the center, you can see a fountain that has water just bubbling out from it. There's a large set of stone stairs that lead upward towards the palace. You can see that the palace is set up in tiers. So it goes stairs, and then there's a flat spot, and then up more stairs, and another flat spot, up more stairs, another flat spot, until you finally get to the palace about 5 flights up. Each one of these has small houses and other things on there, and it seems as though the party holds everybody in town, and it spills from one tier up to the next, up to the next, up to the next. You watch as there is commingling and intermingling, because it is still a caste system. So you have different people who are more prominent and more wealthy above those who aren't. However, in the throw of all of this, that seems to be forgotten, and you can see an intermingling of peoples up and down the staircase. Eventually, the throng starts to kind of spill all together, and eventually, Zora, since you were the one being dragged along, you find yourself bumping into a tall, solid form. Ezra, looking down, you can see a small person that you bumped into, a very familiar small person that you bumped into.
Hi. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Zora. Hello.
Hi. Apparently there's a feast.
I just remembered how excited Ezra's going to be about hearing feast, just in general, just because it's food. So, I mean, the people we talked to said they were going to feast, and we were to feast with our family. But then,
I just got kind of kidnapped.
by who?
Not like actually kidnapped. It's drug along. Forcibly feasted.
Forcibly
fed?
feasted.
Not yet. Thank God.
You watch as there's a quiet that kind of falls over the central crowd, and almost as though it were a parting of the waves or the sea of people. You see a tall man dressed in very fine clothing. His skin is a coppery brown color. Very handsome, very almond-shaped eyes that are golden or copper gold. He wears white with golden copper trim on the edge of the outfit that he has. His shoes come to a point and curl back. He has a turban wrapped around his head. As he makes his approach to you all, he stops for a moment and he looks at you all. And he kind of peers forward and he says, "Welcome. I would say that you are outsiders here. Allow me to introduce myself." And he bows low.
Zora probably bows as well. She's like, this is probably someone important-ish.
You get the idea.
Oh, Ezra would return the bow the moment the bow came up. He's just folded in half.
I look between the two of them, and then I'm like, oh.
Yeah, same.
My name is... I'm going to spell it out for you guys. That way you can have it, and then I will tell you what it is. There we go. It is Eris ibn al-Sulamin. It rolls off his tongue much better than it did mine. Eris ibn al-Sulamin. I am the suzerain here. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, but tell me, how is it you come upon the city of Bazara?
We traveled by ship.
Ah, the sea finds you fair then.
Yes.
He takes a particular look at you. What form are you in right now?
He would have tried to be in human form by the time they went out shopping, so he's definitely shifted back to Oni.
You can see him fold his hands inside the wide sleeves of his the vest and tunic that he has on, and he says, "You are a remarkable creature. What manner of man are you?"
I am Oni.
We must talk more about your kind.
Okay.
And he looks around at the group, and he looks at you, Tangaro, and he says, "One of the creatures of the sea, Triton, if I am not mistaken.
Yeah, that's us.
You are far from your people."
Yeah. You could say I'm adventuring a little bit.
You have the markings of your station on you, don't you? Yep. As a part of your tattoos?
Yeah.
He takes a notice of your markings, and you watch as him bow, and he says, "It is a pleasure to have one of your rank here with us."
Oh, and to you, and I bow to him.
He looks at Zastari for a moment, and he kind of smiles, and he says, "Welcome. What is your name?"
My name is Astario Arabella. Is your grace a acceptable
Yes,
name
that
to
is
call you?
that is a perfectly acceptable honorific.
I must
And
confess that I don't normally interact with Suzerains, so.
Well, it is a pleasure to have you. And I apologize for my faux pas. What is your name, child of Oni?
It's Ezra.
And you, mighty warrior of your people? Looking at Tangaro. As I catch Molly with a mouthful of water.
You're still
Flash your
muted.
face.
Flashed my face.
What is your name?
Tangaroa
A pleasure.
of the Rangolese people.
Fine warriors they are. And you, as he looks at Mello, whose hair is all fire.
Yes. My name is Mello, and thank you for the warm welcome.
Of course. It benefits me to welcome travelers from all over. And he takes a moment and he looks Zora up and down as though he is trying to discern something. And he tilts his head to one side and then back to the other. You seem strikingly familiar. What is your name?
Sora Blackdell. And I can assure you we've probably never met. I would probably remember meeting a dragon before.
I am merely a man.
Okay, wait. Okay.
I'm currently clearing
Okay.
my stuff off, but I'd like to make an insight check on that as soon as I get my desk cleared.
My apologies
Certainly.
then. I've
No need
never
to
been
apologize.
this far south, but this is a fine city.
Do you mind? And he holds his hand out towards you, suggesting
I
to take
mind?
your hand.
Okay. She'll extend her hand and take his.
And he steps in uncomfortably close, like
She's like leaning back.
comfortably close, and he takes his hand, and again, it's like he takes his hand and he kind of moves your hair that you keep, and he moves it out of the way, and he slides it back over her ear. That is what I thought. Do not hide who you are. Child, we are blood kin of some sort. I can almost assure it.
And one of our kin must have been very far away from here.
This is possibly true. Will you be my escort for the night?
Yeah.
And he steps with an arm like up beside you with his arm
From the
out.
boat, Sawtail suddenly looks up like, I sense a disturbance in the force.
Sure.
Please, all of you. I will make rounds to the bottom and back up. Please, won't you join me, though? And he points up to the palace.
We'd be honored.
Zora, you spend the next several minutes walking the steps back down to the bottom where you came from, and as you do, this ocean of people opens up, but they all cry out for him, and he waves at them, and they are in awe. And you can see, though, that this is probably not a common occurrence, but is yet common enough that everybody kind of knows what to do. He makes his way around the fountain and then back up towards the top of the stairs. And as you do, he kind of gathers this throng of people as the people close back in around him. As he approaches the top of the stairs, everybody is... the people give one jubilant cheer, and the smell of roasting food, meat, and vegetables and things like that just sort of drifts in the air around everyone. He gathers the rest of the party up and then escorts you into the palace. There are pillows thrown everywhere. There's large fountains inside. It is just filthy with opulence, but it is not tasteless. It's not a tacky sort of thing. It's just done of both a show of wealth and comfort at the same time. You see several low tables set with food that is just prepared, and there's an entourage of individuals there, guards that seem to be in just common garb, as well as captains and generals, viziers, all manner of people in different various dress. He approaches the end of the table, and he sits cross-legged on a pillow, and then just motions, and you watch as everybody takes a seat. Additional seats have been put aside for all of you, with a seat next to him at the end of the table for Zora.
The result of that insight check.
Yes.
23. I rolled an 18 on the die with a +5.
Yeah, he is far more than what he seems to be.
Zora's like mentally like paging Axel, like, where are you?
He's going back into your head here. Did you save me something to drink then? There, did you, dear?
In her head, I have a feeling I could probably get you like the best shit in the house right now.
What? What, did you find yourself in a place of honor then? Nervous laugh. Are you shitting me?
Oh, I really wish I was.
How is it that you're probably the only person I know that could tumble into a pile of shit and come out with truffles? Swear to God. I swear by all that's on the other side of the Feywild. Well, are you in distress? Are you in danger? Do I need to come find you?
Don't know. Are you on your way back with the folks from the ship?
Right! Distracted, I got. Sorry about that. Yes, right there in a
Weaver!
moment.
Bless Axel.
Look, give me a break, all right? You've seen the city. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to see.
It's exceptionally shiny. Focus.
Exactly. All right, fine. I'll be right there. Setiel, there is a hammering knock and a buzzing sound at your door.
Yeah.
Nothing is there for a moment, and then you right.
Hi,
you can't see me.
Axel.
Right. Looks like there's a feast. We're supposed to be meeting out with Zora and the rest of them. They're at the top of the palace, I think, is where they're at. At least
They
that's what it seems
somehow
like.
managed to just seat themselves in a seat of honor while I was gone.
We didn't burn down a city without adult supervision. It's amazing.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not quite sure what's going on, but let's say there's supposed to be drink there, and that's where I'm going. So you've been invited. You can either walk yourself up there, or you can stay here on the boat. I don't really care. I'm going to go drink. But
Lead the way. I'll follow you. Lead the way.
He whistles loudly. He says, "Oi, you lot! It looks like there's a feast happening up on the top of the temple. You can either come along with us, or you can stay here on the boat. That's your choice." Dalt looks and goes, "Did you understand what he said just now?"
He said there's a feast at the top of the temple and you can come along or stay here.
Oh, well, I'm never going to turn out a feast. And Dalt's like walking off the ship, and everyone else eventually filters out off of the boat. They don't make it as far as up the steps as the rest of you probably do.
Satya will be slowly weaving his way up that direction.
Yeah, Axel is not waiting for you, and he is just
I know he's not.
flittering back and forth between everybody's head.
I get the feeling Satya has to weave through crowds, so it's going to take him longer.
It does. It takes you a little bit of time to get there. Most of the people aren't thronging about, though. You can see that they are people that are trading food and things like that. You see someone who is taking what appears to be some sort of roasted vegetable, and they're cutting open this piece of, it looks like a flat piece of bread, and they are stuffing it with what appears to be lamb or something else, along with like peppers and all these other roasted vegetables and things like that. And they're passing these out. You're eventually led up to the palace, and as you approach, you can see a couple of the guards standing there, and they sort of look at you for a moment. You can see your friends sitting inside the main area. Can we help you?
Well, the rest of my party's in there.
They look over their shoulders and then look back at you. And?
May I go sit with them, or am I going to be kept outside?
He turns and looks at the suzerain across the way. The suzerain looks up and goes, "It is though you have been approved to enter." And they both step aside, allowing you entry into the room. So again, opulence, beyond comfort, description. Sitting at the end of the table, very near Zora, uncomfortably so for Zora, but he's asking you lots of questions. So tell me, where is it you are from, Zora of Blackdale?
Pineheart. It's
Pineheart?
very far north. Mostly lumber export.
Stone and metal are mostly what we use here. Of course, we do have wood in some places. So tell me more about your family. Are they all blessed with such an emotions to this much with such wonders?
Not a one.
So you are alone in this?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Magnificent. And you have never been this far south?
No. So we're
What
like
do you
trying
think
to
of
eat,
my
like,
city?
come on, man.
She's stuffing her face.
No, she's being polite because she has to, but she's like probably like food.
Steve. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's Axel.
I just saw the gift.
She's like, it's a beautiful city. Again, I've never been this far south, so I have very little to compare it with. But the people are exceptionally kind that I've encountered. I mean, I'm sure, like every town, there's it's lovely.
I'm glad that you think so. I am proud of the people here in the city, as we have learned that to be fair and share amongst one another, to make sure that your fellow person does not want for anything. We see that too often those who go without for too long make for a criminal element. If all of those within the city have what they need to survive, then it makes for a much nicer environment. Tell me more about your city. I am curious.
Very much probably like any other city. There's, mostly it's lumber export. A lot of those who tend towards druidic arts there. It's nothing particularly
I see.
special.
And you yourself?
No,
No.
nothing as. No. I have some skill with plants, but nothing like the folks at home.
But clearly you have magic about you. Your invisible floating friend tells me as much.
You can see Axel.
In a manner of speaking.
I have some skill with magic, yes, but nothing in the same vein as those from my home.
Well, I am honored to have you here amongst all of my people.
I'm honored to be here.
Well, please, I will trouble you no more. I can see that I am perhaps making you nervous.
That's just kind of me, unfortunately.
Well, it shouldn't. You should not fear while you are amongst my table and my people. As long as you do no harm to them, they will do no harm to you.
I assure you, I have no intention of doing anyone here harm. I also doubt I probably could.
I understand. Well, enjoy the table and the food. I must tend to other guests. And he stands, and as he does, you watch as everybody just kind of stops for a minute. Well, the people that know him stop for a moment, but then he rises and starts to make his way around the table, talking to individuals as he does. Setiel, the room, there's plenty of room at the table for you. You can see that it is set well, with plenty to offer.
Is there a spot by Zora to sit?
There is now at the head of the table.
Where Zor's like disappearing under the table. It's like
He'll just take a seat with the rest of the group.
Okay. Making his way around the table is, the suzerain, and as he gets near you, I believe that we have not had the pleasure of meeting one another.
We haven't. I was on the boat. Everyone else went into the city.
Well, I am Eres ibn al-Sulamin. I am the suzerain here, the leader.
Oh, okay.
And your name?
Well, give me a second as I copy that down. Eris Ben Al Suleiman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I say, well, Eris Ben Al Suleiman, I am Satir.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Acquaintance, Satil. Satil. Your friends then are all part of the boat, right?
We're all different parts of the world. We just happen to come together. If I understood did I hear you correctly when you asked that? I don't think I quite heard you.
I take it that you are with the other
Oh.
friends here.
Yes, I am. I'm a little more prone to staying by myself, but I'm a part of the group, yes.
Ah, but there is so much to see in this beautiful city. Perhaps tomorrow you will get out and make a show of seeing yourselves around.
Well, perhaps.
Tell me, Satil, what is it that brings you so far from here? I mean, I have spoken to Zora, one of your people, for some time here. She does not seem to come from any place that is near here.
Well, we're traveling. Coming from... sorry.
That is obvious.
Yes, we left Jopus Landing, which is my home.
Ah, a learned man then.
Yes, I had the good fortune of being raised by a dwarf named Thadir Helkral. Is best father I could have asked for, and he definitely made sure I knew what I needed to know.
And he has passed?
Recently, yes. Was
You're
returned to the stone.
phrasing raised by him.
Yes, he found me as a child and raised me as his own son.
I assumed that he had passed, given that you said he was the best father you could have had and not have. So I am sorry to hear of that. Several of my own manuscripts and tomes have made their way to Jopus Landing. So your father was a good man. I have met him on a couple of occasions a long time ago.
It's quite a long time then, considering how old he got.
It was a considerable time ago, yes.
Well, if it's not presumptuous of me, we could perhaps share some stories about my father at some time.
I think that I would like that very much. I will see to other guests. Please enjoy yourself and
Thank you.
all that I have to offer.
It was a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to hearing how you got to meet and know my father.
And he bows deeply, as though you were the Sultan or the suzerain here, and not him.
He'll do the best he can. While he'll do is he will actually get up and then give a dwarven bow of honor that he learned from his father to him.
That puts a smile on his face, and he looks at you and nods. He moves around to Tangaroa, and he sits beside you, and he says, "You are a warrior, but something more, I believe."
Yes, I'm a warrior of my people. I am destined to be as you might call it, a military leader.
I believe the term you use is war chief, yes?
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if you were familiar.
I'm not intimately familiar with your people, but I have met them on occasion.
Hmm.
In my travels. Well, it is an honor to have you here, amongst us.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Have you made your way around the city and have seen anything that interests you?
I've wandered a little bit, mostly just that creature caught my eye. The one that flew in.
Ah, yes. A dragon.
Yeah, the dragon.
Have you not seen a dragon before?
Never, sir.
He rests underneath the palace. There's a place for him. He finds it nice and homey there, a cavern in the rock. Perhaps if there is time, and I do not take away from your journeys, you will meet him. He is quite the character. A bit
like
of a prankster, if you will.
Huh? Didn't think a dragon would have that type of personality, but you know what? I suppose I don't know a lot of things about places that aren't my own.
It is always good to keep a broad mind and to learn. Well, again, it is an honor to have you here as a representative of your people. And he stands and gives you a bow as though you were the suzerain and not he. Clutching pearls.
That's sweet.
He moves around to Mellow. So, Firechild then?
Yes. Yes, I was raised in a, let's say, small town, just on the bay here. Well, south of here.
What was the name of this place?
Port Alapal.
That is not a small place, but yes, I know of it.
Been traveling around for a while. A lot of different places feel like a lot of different sizes at this point, frankly. Been to some very large places. This place is beautiful.
Thank you very much for your compliment. It takes everyone here to make it what it is. In keeping the peace is something that we do our best to try and maintain. But, small skirmishes and fights break out occasionally. They are, of course, dealt with expediently and, well, not harshly. A fair hand.
When things need to be sorted out, it's good that there's a method to the madness, something to clear things up. That's good.
Sorry, give me just one moment here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I poked him because.
Yeah, somebody's over here bothering me with whispers.
Well, I mean, you said that he knew Satil's dad, so I figured journal that Satil has of his dad's.
So you well, it is a pleasure to have a southern child with me here in my city. May it treat you fairly, and if there's anything that you would need, or you may simply ask, and we will provide it in the best that we can.
Much obliged. Thank you.
With that, he stands and bows to you again, paying more honor to you than like putting you above his own station. You can tell it is a grand gesture. He then moves on towards Ezra. He sits next to you and ponders for a moment. Are there many of your kind here in this world?
There are a few tribes here and there, but the one I would technically be from, maybe less than 100. Not many, but enough.
Then you and I share something in common. Being our kind is numbered and few.
Yes.
Well,
It's going to be a little short with him, I'm sorry. Okay.
are you afraid of something?
Not... I don't know my people all too well.
Did you not live among them? Raised by them?
I was born on the sea. On the ship. On a ship.
Oh,
My mother's ship. I only lived with them for a few years. Whenever I was older.
I see. Well, then I will not pry further, if it gives you discomfort on speaking about these things.
Thank you.
Of course. It does me no good to bring ill feelings amongst my guests. I will encourage you, though, to walk proudly amongst my people in whatever form you choose. And if someone should give you any trouble, please let me know.
Thank you.
But of course. And he stands once more and again gives you the same bow, paying you honor.
Ezra would still go to get up and return the bow as well.
He gives you a slight chuckle as he looks you over. He says, well done. He then moves over and sits down beside Zastari. In a menagerie of individuals, you are alone the most unique in that you are not unique at all. Zastari Arabal, you seem to be nothing more than an elf, unless, of course, I am mistaken. My eyes are a bit older than they used to be.
No, Your Grace, you would be correct. I am nothing more than a Valerian High Elf.
Then how is it you come to find yourselves among such fine company? Your friends are all very interesting. Not to say that you are not in your own like, but you understand.
Of course. When somebody puts out an open call for a pilgrimage to escort a group to a destination, you seem to find that many will answer the call. Not all of them will stick with it. Suffice to say, those that are here are the ones that have stuck with it. We've created friendships. We've created alliances that, well, are beneficial to all of us at some point or another.
A strong foundation is important. You mentioned pilgrimage. You tell me more.
Well, we first encountered... Oh god, no, you're gonna make me do a sanity check. I don't have enough sanity for that, are you kidding me? We escorted the warrior, the crone, and the catalyst. That's what they were called. That's what we were told they were. Never got true names. And we traveled with them to... how do I describe it? It was a town, but it seemed to be abandoned. But it was well upkept. So it was almost like it had been recently abandoned, but there was no feel of abandonment. Just as if everybody were out in the fields and there was just nobody in the town. And, well, from there, things are a little bit fuzzy.
Did you lose your memory along the way somewhere?
Something like that.
Hmm.
And
What's your passive perception?
my passive perception is a 19.
His normal passive visage, where he just seems to have this interested look. He seems to be, his eyes seem to be narrowed in consternation. He seems to be like either focusing on or trying to sort something or piece something together. And you can tell that he's like either trailing after the thought or there's too many pieces to put together. He looks both confused and concerned at the same time.
Did he just have to make a sanity roll? Look
We
says
don't know.
potentially yes.
We don't know.
I know that face.
Your Grace, is everything all right?
Yes, too many hours out in the sun. Yeah, you can insight check that. I can see your face going for it.
Yeah, we know that face too.
Concerned. Is that confused and concerned at the same time? Concerned.
That's a dirty 20.
Okay. Yeah, he's definitely obfuscating, trying to not tell you the truth. He looks as though he is a bit more dismayed. But you can see that quickly the look passes and he says, well, that is an interesting story in the beginning. That is unusual and unique.
And we have traveled together since. Through the Hannock Wastes to quite a number of our hometowns.
You have been through the Hannock Wastes before then?
Yes. Twice now, actually. No? No, it was, which one was it?
The Ackerman Moors.
Ackerman Moors. Apologies. That's what I would have
That's
said.
okay.
That was me just misremembering which one it was.
That's okay.
We have been through the waste once.
You have not gone through the waste.
No, we were by the waste.
Oh, we were by it. Okay.
You
Yeah.
went sailing by it.
Yeah. Yeah, we weren't in the waste. We've never been in the waste. This is me getting it confused because I was in the waste in another campaign.
Yes, you were.
That was
no,
me getting
you've
my
been
two
to
characters. I'm so sorry.
The Ackerman Moors. He looks at you and says, so you have sailed along this route before?
Yes, although
Did you-
I find it remiss that we didn't stop here last time. You have a beautiful city.
Well, thank you very much for your kind words. Sometimes our journeys allow us these small stopovers, and sometimes time is of the essence. But I am so very glad that you stopped in.
And I must say, you are a man after my own heart.
How so?
Well, I've never really agreed with the idea that nobility should be above those below them. That those below them have needs, and need those needs to be met.
Of
And if
course.
those who have can help, then they should.
My station amongst the people is known and understood. However, I would not be here if it were not for the people. So I must always reflect and remember upon this. And by that score, I try to do my best to be a fair ruler. I cannot say that that has always been the case, but age tempers us.
Yes, but from what I've seen from your people, I believe that you are doing a very good job, Your Grace.
Thank you. It is a labor of love, and I would continue to pay the cost. Please enjoy the meal. I must proceed to other guests. And he gives you a very deep bow, showing you honor. And with that,
at the same time as well, like the others, she gets to her feet
Right.
and her bow it's so fluid because it's something she used to do all the time.
he then makes his way around the table to the rest of the people, and dinner carries on for the rest of the evening, and it seems to carry on into the night. Before you know it, there are stars above you and lantern lights spread out through the city, and it looks like it's bathed in star glow itself, and you can see that the city is just gorgeous, as gorgeous at night, with different colored lantern lights here and there, and it's as gorgeous at night as it is during the day, with the stars above it. And you watch as he stands once and he claps. You can see that even though they weren't seated at the table, that there were servants seated in the room at different tables. They arise and start to carry away the dishes and plates and platters and things like that. And he says, "As it is, and as it has always been within my palace, I will allow my guests, if they so wish it, to stay here. Satil, I promised you a conversation regarding your father.
Mm-hmm.
Please come, sit. We will talk."
Of course.
And he moves up to this chair that is like a throne, but it's much lower to the ground. It's almost on the ground, and he sits there. And a nice, these very wide, long steps are there, and he sits there as a cushion that is brought for you to sit before him, so that you are sitting just below him, and you're looking up at him slightly, and he's looking down at you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time that you think that you've seen in the palace where his position and station has been shown as being above anyone else.
And he gets that immediately.
Tell me.
Yes.
You are journeying. Where are you journeying to?
Well, our initial port that we're heading to is in Derivan's archipelago.
Then your captain is a very brave person.
Well, brave, yes, but also a necessity.
There are maelstroms there that could cause quite the calamity.
Yeah, well, is there anyone else like crowded up around those, or just those two up there?
For now, it's just you two. You can see that the others are being situated around. For Mello, you can watch as a large device that's probably about chest high or so is brought out. You can see several cloth tubes that run from it, and each one is affixed to a metal pipe end. And several of these are brought out, and several small, and they're packed with sweet smelling and different smelling leaves that are packed into them. And you watch as several of the people, the guards that are not on duty, sit and they pull on the pipe and blow smoke. And one of them pulls one of the pipes off and hands it to you. And they takes another deep pull off of it and blows out again. But yeah, for now on the stairs, it's just the two of you.
Well, there's always going to be calamities somewhere.
Of course.
Unfortunately, it's necessary to prevent a greater calamity.
What? I know that I am prying, and I understand if you do not wish to answer the question. But what calamity is it that draws you so close to danger?
Well, what do you know of the gods?
I have had my share of information garnered.
There's something wrong with the weave.
I have felt as much.
And we, as a group, are putting together the pieces to see if we can make it right.
A sword?
You know of the Blade of Meliandra?
I do.
Well, and he'll pause, like he'll let his voice go a bit lower in volume,
Mhm.
and then he'll say in Draconic, "Well, would that make you Arximal?
Good luck saying that one.
Arexialmanas."
I have not been called that name, he says in Draconic, in a very long time. Arexialmanas is my name.
Father spoke very highly of you in his journals that I inherited.
Well, your father was a bit of a boaster, I believe. Why do you seek to find the pieces of the sword?
Because Meliandra is my spirit guide.
He purses his lips for a moment. I see.
We were there when the one who damaged the weave ascended.
So, there is a small part that is responsible. Perhaps you feel this way?
Yeah, we feel, I'm pretty sure all of us feel like it's in part our responsibility to try to put it right, since we didn't have the strength to stop him then.
And you know that part of this blade is in the Hana quest.
Yes. Meliandra said she'll do her best to guide us when we're there. But my thought was if we find the other two pieces, could potentially use them as somewhat of a divining rod to try to narrow down the location of the third.
So you know where the other two lie, then?
Only in so much of their general locations. I know one is in Daravin's archipelago.
Yes.
And I know the other is in Gadalan, specifically in the city of Prestigio.
This is also true. I am happy to rule this place and understand that the desert is not forgiving for those who do not know how to navigate it. I must ruminate on this. I'm sorry to cut our conversation short.
No, it's fine.
Your father stumbled upon my lair a long time ago. He and his allies. We fought. In the end, he realized his mistake and what I truly was. We struck up a friendship over the years, having forgiven the slight. But of course, he did not leave unscathed.
Well, that explains those stories then.
Your father and I have kept correspondence. For a time. I believe he got busy about the same time that he adopted a small child.
Sorry.
No, it is okay. We had long lives, so I must ruminate on this. But
I'm sorry to interrupt. If I may, I kind of think I understand why the last thing he made is what it was. Now. And he'll reach into his pack and he'll pull out that clockwork dragon and he'll present it to him. I'd always wondered why this was the last thing he made before I left. I think I know.
it is my apologies. It is a lot to ask, but may I have this?
I have all of my memories of him. All of the stories, the many years I lived with him raising me as my father. It's the least I can do to give a gift like this to his friend.
Thank you. And he stands and he says, I'm feeling tired. You may all stay in the palace. They will show you to comfortable rooms. I will make sure to say any goodbyes before I leave in the morning.
I would appreciate that.
Of course. The rest of you watch as he stands from his throne and he's cupping something in his hands gently to his chest. He bids you all good evening. There's a slight catch in his voice as he does so before he leaves through this curtained door in the back. You're all shown to comfortable rooms, and the night passes with warm breezes that blow through, mixing with scent of salt and sea and spices in the night. And it lulls you to sleep, the sound of the waves in the distance crashing upon the rocks that end in the cliffs there at the base of Basra. When morning comes, the suzerain Eris is nowhere to be seen. As you look around, the table is much smaller now, and you can see that it's just room enough for you guys and maybe a couple of others. You're seated, and breakfast is brought out to you. As you are sitting there, there is a small clearing of throat, and a servant stands at your shoulder, Satil. Mm-hmm. She whispers into your ear and beckons you, and she basically says he would like to see you. She escorts you through the large curtained door that he went out last night. You were standing down. You move down a couple of hallways, turning left and right, and you come before a large balcony. And I mean, it is a large balcony. From the doorway that you exit to the end of the balcony is probably 80 feet. And it sits out overlooking the back half of Basra that you did not see before, which is mostly this cliff and set of stairs that run down into the rock. And he is standing there at the edge of the balcony, overlooking, his hands on the balcony on either side. You can see him in his white tunic and robe that he has on. Mm-hmm. As you approach, without even turning to look around, he says, Satil, I am glad that you could join me. Please, come. And he just kind of motions over his shoulder.
He'll walk up next to him.
Sitting on the edge of the balcony is a small bundle, probably about that long, about that wide, and it's wrapped up. He puts his hand on it, and Your father and I were as close as friends could be. And I told him that if ever he had need, he merely needed to ask of me, and I would be there. I am sorry to hear of his passing. The loss, I did not understand until you gave me that gift.
Yeah, it was, he did all... There was an aboleth that was attacking our home.
Mm.
We sent it off, but the damage was too much for him.
I would be remiss if I sent his beloved child out into the world without anything. I cannot help the man that was, the dwarf that was, but I can help the man that is. And he slides the bundle over. He says, I am off to surveil my lands. This is yours. May it guide you and keep you and show you the way. When you get to close to the archipelagos, there will be some straits that you must pass through. The rocks that make up the straits are uninhabitable. Maelstroms will assail you, as will other things. Tell your captain to be ready for them. To sail around the straits as best can.
I'm typing this out.
Yeah. You will find a passage marked by the face of a man. It should be safe for you to pass through there. And beware the old Hydra, for it will smash your ship upon the rocks with nary a warning.
Okay. Forewarned is forearmed, I suppose.
Indeed. Now, he steps up onto the balcony. I hope that we will see one another again. You are friends. And tell your friend Zora to be not afraid of her bloodline. And he takes a step and falls from the balcony.
Mhm.
Before you know it, you watch as great wings open up in front of you, and then there's a single flap of air that nearly pushes you to the ground
Mm-hmm.
as the copper dragon stands in front of you. His eyes are nearly turquoise orbs at this point in time, giving you the indication that he is not young, that he is an ancient form.
Mm-hmm.
In Draconic, he says, be safe, and may that which I have given you guide you on. He takes to the air, and as he crests the edge of the temple, or the edge of the palace, you can hear the people, the cry from the people down below in the streets is so loud that you can hear the cheers from even the backside of the palace.
How far away has he gotten?
He's climbing right now above the city.
Okay.
I mean, he flies really fast, so he's gone.
Yeah. Saltiel, he's gonna... Well, you said we're in the wastes right now, so magic is freaky, right? Or we're just
you're at the edge of the wastes, and so you're assuming you're in the waste itself. So your magic may or may not go off, and it may go off with some unexpected side effects, like your ears grow really big for a minute.
Before he gets
too far out of range.
Yeah, too far out of range. Let me double check my spells here. It won't last forever, but he is going to fly up with him
Mm-hmm.
as his wings go gold, as his celestial wings unfurl. He's going to after he puts the thing away, he's going to shoot off the balcony up towards the dragon before he completes his ascent and flies off.
Mm-hmm. You're just keeping pace with him?
Yeah, for right now. This is a friend of his father. He wants to go flying with him at least for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, you can for a very short period of time. You realize that as fast as your wings will take you,
Yeah.
he's a
big
dragon.
Yeah,
So
I know.
He's gone.
But
the rest of you, while you are eating breakfast, and you watch as Satil is taken out, several of the servants usher over to you, and they're beckoning you to come out to the outside. And as you exit out of the palace, just on the other side, you watch as the form of this great copper dragon crest the edge of the palace and is like hovering for a second there. And you can see this other smaller form that tries to keep pace for a short period of time, but the dragon's wings they're too great to keep up with. And before you know it, he's shot north and then starts to head northwest. And before he's out of sight. And the city is cheering up at everybody. You can hear the city cheering, and as though life has started again for the city.
Yeah, Satya will look down, see them, and he'll fly down to them and sort of land as his wings.
Superhero landing?
No, he's just going to the wings will spread out. His wings will spread out and sort of flap a bit as he'll just land quietly, and his wings will fold behind him.
All right. Do you open the package in front of them?
Not yet.
Okay.
He's gonna wait till he's by himself to open it because it was a gift from his father's friend.
Breakfast is wonderful. It's all manner of fare. They have how many of you would be familiar with rice? I think Mello would be. You would be. Port Awapal has a lot of it because it's more of a coastal city as well. But yeah, there's rice with chicken that's served with this yellow sauce. There's a bit of a tangy bite to it. You ask them what that is, and they explain to you what curry is. There's all manner of food set out before you. And eventually, though, you watch as the captain and crew find you and join you for breakfast, and eventually everyone disperses for their ship or their day.
Before everyone disperses, Satil will go over to Eleanor. If I got the name right, B?
No.
Okay.
It's Eleanor. Well, Eleanor, but Eleanor.
Eleanor. Okay.
Technically, you've got
Eleanor.
I added an extra syllable. He'll go over and like, Eleanor. If you're free for a moment, can we talk?
Of course. Go ahead.
I learned some information that might make our trip a little easier.
Sure.
Is it just like the crew around right now
Mm-hmm.
when he's talking to them? Learned there's a passage around there that's marked by the face of a man, and that we should go through there, and it should be safe. And to avoid the straits as much as possible.
It's a bit hard to do. The straits are sort of how you get through, but a passage marked by the face of a man. Thank you for that. Any other bits of information that you may have given out?
Yes. There will be maelstroms, more than likely. And to beware the old Hydra.
I believe it's called an all Hydra. Not old Hydra.
An all Hydra, oh.
But
Me, the player, didn't hear you. And all Hydra. Okay.
OLHYDRA, Olydra. Blessed.
OLHYDRA. Okay. Okay.
So
that's what he would have said.
Yeah.
Because me, the player, heard old Hydra.
No, an Olydra. She kind of nods at you for a moment and she goes, good information. I'll take that into account. We're going to make preparations to set sail today if everyone's ready.
I'm fine.
Picked up a few goods for trade, and I think we're restocked as best we can be. She says,
it was interesting meeting an old friend of my father's.
Good for you. All right, crew. Let's go. You lot. And she motions to the party as it's gathered. You two. Let's hit the boat. And she starts making her way down. Dalt's like, but listen, hear me out. Dried figs.
I will say, Satil now, it's been since he hasn't looked as content and at peace as he does now since a long time, like before the death of his father.
Okay.
Like it's been a long, long time since he's looked as content as he is now.
As you're moving, you hear Dalt talking about pureed fig wrapped in a shortbread soft cookie. He's like, no, it could be the hit of the town. Listen to me. These are wonderful ideas. You've not tried it. We'll call it a fig cookie. No? All right, fine.
What about a fig Newton?
Why a Newton? What is that
Newton?
even? What's a Newton?
It's a word.
A fig Dalton. There
Fig
we go.
Dalton.
Let's go. Look, don't knock it. Serafina, quit giving me that look.
I'll
Pick
try.
up the barrel of figs. And with that, the crew moves back to the ship. All right. Final call for anybody doing anything before you head back onto the ship and leave.
Hey, Dolph, I got 5 barrels of this thing they call curry. Thanks, bye.
5
barrels?
Yes.
Jesus Christ, man. It's a powder.
I get wasted off curry.
Yeah.
He's looking at you going, barrels.
No, I'm just imagining we end
Casks,
up like...
right?
No.
Casks. No.
Barrels.
Barrels.
I'm just imagining we find a suitably sized chunk of water. We just dump the curry in it and just make a curry lake.
It's a hot spring. You put the rice in there too. It's like,
Ooh.
He gets really close to you as he's walking and he puts a finger up and he goes, my sister may love you, but I'm starting to find you a wee bit intolerable.
You haven't tried it yet.
That's fair. He's moving on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take about a 10-minute break or so while we go refresh our waters and go to the bathroom and step away for a minute. Please don't go anywhere. We're going to finish up the last half of the show, or the last part of the show, when we come back. Keep in mind that we are going until we wrap the story, or 9 o'clock, whichever comes first. And we will be back tomorrow with more shows all the way until Thursday. But give us, still, like I said, just about 10 minutes or so to get ourselves a refresher on our water and things like that. Thank you, guys. We'll be right back.
If we try to believe in anything greater than a miracle, it wouldn't be this difficult. If we try to be a negative bull, yeah, we could be taking control, yeah. If we try to believe in anything greater than a miracle, it wouldn't be this difficult. If we try to be a negative bull, yeah, we could be taking control, yeah. We could be taking control. 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 taking control. If we try to believe in anything greater than a miracle, it wouldn't be this difficult. If we try to be a negative pole, we could be taking control. 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 Cause I don't want nobody change me now. Cause I like to be myself. If you're not agree, you can walk away. You can walk away. You can walk away. Something in my mind makes me think I ain't nobody perfect. Something in my mind makes me think I ain't nobody perfect. 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 Cause I don't want nobody change me now. Cause I like to be myself. If you're not agree, you can walk away. You can walk away. You can walk away. Something in my mind makes me think I ain't nobody perfect. Something in my mind makes me think I ain't nobody perfect. 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 Ain't nobody perfect.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. So, in the interim during the break, Molly playing Tangaroa had to step away. Had just a really rough day, so wish her all the best for the evening and that she gets plenty of rest because I know she's going to have a rough day again tomorrow. So that's why you see fewer of us. Anyways, so as you guys gathered down at the boat, all preparations are made. All of the crew is on board, and the anchor is weighed, and the ship is ferried out, and you are once again out to sea, leaving the beautiful and strange exotic city of Basara behind you. Satil, you are in your cabin and either writing in the journal or poring over the events of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And either way, The gift that was wrapped sits heavy on the table next to you, as though its weight is pushing down on reality itself, as it just seems to sit there.
I'll open it up. See what it is.
Unwrapping the bundle, you can see that it is wrapped in a beautiful piece of cloth that you can save. As you undo it, you see in your hand an old hilt. The leather of the hilt is worn and looks as though it's seen better days. The crossguard on it is tarnished and has a patina on it. A bit of the blade sticks up, but it seems to have been sundered or broken. This is not a shiny new thing. It is an old, broken piece of something. There is a folded piece of paper in with it. You open it to read handwriting, two different. One you're very familiar with, though, as it is written in your father's hand. Eric's. Please care for the blade as best you can. I feel that it'd be safest in your possession, far from anyone who might want to get a hold of it. Someday somebody may come calling for it. Make sure you trust them before you give it to them. It's powerful. So, well, maybe not as powerful in this form as it once was, but still. Old things like this have a way of storing a lot more in them. The other handwriting you're not as familiar with, but you recognize it as it is addressed to you.
Mm-hmm.
Satil, it was an honor meeting you. I hope that your journey finds you what you're seeking, even if you don't know what it is that you're seeking for. For good or bad, it is always best to trust our instincts and not necessarily the guides that we are given. When the time comes, I pray that you make a decision that leads you on a path to where you want to be and not where you think you should be. May the wind carry you ever onward. Eric's. Buried in the Hannock waste is one of the weapons one of the pieces of the weapon you were looking for. Or I should say, it may have been buried there in the Hannock waste at one time. But now the first of three parts of the blade sit in your possession.
Okay. And he'll sit there just holding the sword and looking at it for a moment. And just grasp the hilt and examining it.
It seems ungainly and unwieldy and just all around a broken hilt.
Mm-hmm. He's just sort of looking at it and just like, can he feel anything coming off it despite that otherworldly presence?
Nope. It just seems to be a broken piece of a sword.
Okay. He will put it in his bag.
All right.
and he will just sit on the bed with those 2 letters and his father's journal and just smile to himself, just close his eyes and just relax.
The next few days find fair weather. You face fair weather as you are once again propelled onward and forward through the world. The wind seems to be at your back and filling your sails, and the trip is easy to go. There isn't even bad weather in the night, and it makes you a bit trepidatious at first, but finally you settle into a groove. Dalt has made plenty of his fig Dalts. The first few batches could use a bit more sugar. The next few batches could use a lot less sugar. There was a batch in there where he misplaced some of the sugar with salt. Those were interesting. You go through about that much curry before everybody's like tired of it.
Does Mello sneak curry into the fig dalts?
Sure.
I see nodding.
Especially into the ones with salt.
Salty Dalties.
Salty dalties. Oh,
That's the reason they are salties, because you got in there, didn't you?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
There is a small scrap amongst some of them about some of the food that they're pulling up from the waters, as they have pulled on board several large sporting fish, and you can see that there are tuna in there. And you realize quickly that the type of curry that you picked up does not necessarily go well with this fish. That is a mistake that you only took one meal to realize. And then eventually the rest of the curry is then moved into the cargo hold to be traded out later as they try to make the best with the rest of the food that they have.
Yeah.
About the 4th night that you've been out since there, as you're leaning across the starboard side, looking out towards where you know the coastline to be, Eleanor comes and leans on the railing beside you there, Mello. She looks out and she says, "Your home's out there, Port Awapol."
Long way yet, I imagine.
All we'd have to do is turn to starboard. Be there in a day or so. If you're so inclined. Is there anything there for you? Anybody I should know about? Mother, father, mistress, small children? A bunch of fire-haired children running around going, "Daddy," when you show into town.
Well, that would be a surprise to both of us. No, I might have siblings at this point. I've been gone so long. But, no, have parents there. Very, very Sedge Hill-like parents in terms of their personalities, at least.
Dry as hardtack, then. A bit tough to take.
Dad more than Mom.
Yeah. A bit of soaking in the water, maybe they'll soften up a bit.
That would be good for them, I think. Yeah.
She laces her fingers in with yours, intertwining them, and she leans against you a bit, and she goes, "Perhaps on the way back, then, we'll see this Mishigosh down in the archipelago's taken care of, and we'll stop in on the way back."
I'd like that. Yeah.
All right.
Love to introduce you.
That would be nice. Should probably introduce them to Ezra.
Definitely.
She looks across the water and she says, I've been to the archipelagos. It was not a good trip. There was a fleet of 6 of us, all of which 2 were sank. Mine and one other. I left, taking their passages out. I don't know what ever became of the other ship. I suppose they're still there. What's more important, and she kind of catches herself for a moment and adjusts comfortably, and she squeezes your hand and she says, the other ship had it's not important. Anyways, I'm just reminiscing over nothing. She gives you a kiss on the cheek, and then she says, well, I'm turning in for the night. And she heads to her cabin.
I grab her hand before she goes. Before you go, little birdie told me, and might be a fun little surprise for you. And he takes out this tiger's eye bead that Ezra recommended, and offers it to her.
Do you have a matching one?
I do. And he actually takes it out and puts it on like a necklace.
Gonna say, probably wouldn't last long in the hair.
Probably not.
Did my son put you up to this?
He encouraged it.
He is ever so sweet.
He is.
And she threads it on her hair and then braids it up so that it's tied in place in her hair. She goes, did Ezra tell you the significance of this? You just exit.
And he's gone. All right.
Sorry, I had to grab something.
It was just appropriate timing that you just left.
Is it a gun to kill Mello with, Quentin? Like, is that... Did you go for a gun?
I put him up to this.
What do you have? A knife!
No!
I have bite. Bite's my knife.
There's one behind me, like right there.
He's right.
He didn't, but I had a pretty good idea. Here's the one I got for Ezra. And he holds up another.
Smart. Okay.
She cups your face in her hands and says, you're a very silly man, and I love you. And she kisses you, and she goes, you really should ask Ezra the importance of this. And with that, she pats you on the bottom before she starts giggling as she leaves. Just talking, you hear her muttering to herself, and she's just like that boy. And she heads into her cabin.
He just looks at it. Not just family, then.
Oh no, it's definitely family. And with that, she turns in for the evening. Ezra, where are you at in the ship right now?
If there was any setup that needed to be helped with, he would have done that. Otherwise, he probably would be getting ready to turn in for the night himself.
Okay. Is it Ralton? Yeah, Ralton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your gunnery sergeant.
Little man, yeah. That's Ralton.
He's down in the hold. He's got the top off of one of the barrels of curry. And he's looking at it. Ezra, what's this then? It's not gunpowder. Why is it yellow?
That's
What's it for?
eating. Don't eat it. Not like that.
He's like, no, not like this then.
No, it's curry
Huh.
powder.
And he sneezes like, oh, it's
Me-
in my nose.
Me just thinking about this. Did we leave Boddock behind?
No, I'm
Okay.
Sure.
I was about to go. Did we just leave him behind in that city?
I'm sure.
He's probably hiding in a barrel of curry. It's fine. We'll find him later.
But
Yeah,
it
it's
popped
fine.
out.
Hiding in a barrel of curry where he drugged the other Azamar with him.
So we only
Yeah.
have 3 barrels of curry then. 2 of them are being occupied by the other 2 Azamar.
2 of them are Azamar. Two of them are curry.
They're
lights.
false barrels. They've
They're
got
curry light.
they've got a top that you can set down, and it's just a layer of curry that's about that thick.
Sounds about
And you
right.
take the lid off, and then you've got a person inside.
This needs to be canon.
The Ralton looks at you and says, "I'm confused. I thought you were supposed to be buying things that were supposed to be sold at other places, and of course, there's also gunpowder. This isn't gunpowder."
Did we? Maybe they got mixed up, the barrels. I can go take a look for other barrels.
Nah, I'll do it. I'm just bored. That's all. And you watch as he goes and like dips his finger in the curry, and then like goes, "Ugh. It's not. I think it's gone bad. I think it's turned."
No, Ryleton, it's just supposed to taste like that in that.
Who'd eat
Powdery.
that? That seems like it's not proper fit. Not like it.
And then you don't have to worry about eating it.
Wiping his finger off on his
There.
clothes. Oh, look at that. It gets everywhere.
You did also sneeze in it. I wouldn't be surprised if some of it came back
It's-
and just
All over me. Why is it all over me? I don't like this at all. Although I wonder if I could coat a cannonball in it and fire it at my enemies. Coat them in yellow stuff everywhere.
honestly,
Chemical warfare.
I'd be
Chemical warfare.
I'd be down to see that. What if we took like shells and put the curry powder in it, and then once we shot it off and it hit something, it blew up with the curry powder to get
That's
in their
just
eyes?
inhumane, that is. You have to think better of people than that. Talking about firing the stuff at them and it gets everywhere and then they can't wipe it off. That's just cruel. Your mother would be ashamed of you.
You know, you're right, but I feel like I'd get approval from Dalt.
He gives you this look and he goes, you would.
I'll help us with the
And for that alone, I think I like the idea completely. We should definitely try it.
And put to use some of this curry powder. I don't know.
Curry
why
bombs. Curry bombs. That sounds like a delight. That has.
That's. You should trademark that, Ryleton. It might be useful one day.
Perhaps.
I love how we're inventing modern stuff. Oh, that's great.
But if Ryleton wants some help, I will try and help find the gunpowder.
No, he has enough gunpowder. I mean, well, let me rephrase that. He has enough gunpowder to fire the cannons for the shells and cannonballs that he has. It's not necessarily enough for Ralton, but there's enough for the ship, okay?
It's too much for the ship, but Ryleton needs more.
More.
Yeah.
Maybe
Needs
the next
all
town
of
will
it.
have some more and we can buy some more. Yeah?
Of course, we could. All right, then. I guess I'm going to turn in.
Good night,
night.
Ryleton. Good night.
Good night. And he wanders off muttering, "It's still everywhere. I think I still taste it on my lips. It doesn't taste good that way. Use chicken."
I love this man. He's great. I will say, probably maybe some point that night, there'll be a tiny owl flitting around, pecking party members on the head, and then flying off to go find more party members.
I like
Sarah,
to think...
Sarah, get inspiration for that, please.
What kind of inspiration I haven't used?
Have another one.
Another one.
How did I miss?
I don't know that I can give two, but I'm going to give you two just for that alone. Sprinkle a little bit now and then on Archibald.
See, look, he
You're
likes it.
pre-seasoning him. He's pecking it off
Gotta
the ground.
marinate him in there.
He's just like
Marinated in.
putting small bits of it on his food, and he's just eating it. So it's like in his system.
Well, isn't that because Archibald is just practically hey?
Yeah, practically hey.
That's good. I love it.
The chicken, the one eating the rock. Couldn't we perhaps eat him?
We could.
Give it to Archibald. He likes anything.
Do you really want to eat a chicken that eats rocks? That's my big question.
They all kind
He's
of.
been eating a
They
few
all eat
big
rocks.
Daltons
Yeah.
at this point.
That's what's in their gizzard. They rocks in their
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
in their gizzards to grind up food.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Today
Solid.
you learned.
Yeah.
You were this many days old to know that chickens eat rocks.
I thought it was just like a... I mean, he was eating like a good sized rock. I think it was too big for...
That's
like,
just hey
tiny rock.
being dumb.
Maybe,
Yeah, like small pebbles.
yeah.
Ah.
That's just hey.
Yep.
It's how he gets
Oh,
his
God.
minerals. Ha.
I still love the scene whenever Moana or whenever Maui puts the food on the deck of the boat, and he starts pecking, but he's like way off to the side, and then Maui just turns him a little bit. It's just
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, you saw how wide set that poor rooster's eyes were. He had no depth perception. He didn't know where things were.
Fair.
But I mean, that's why they're that way, though.
Yeah.
I
But-
guess it's fair.
Anyway.
You know what? He can still run away from bite, so it's fine.
Is there a crow's
Or
nest
did he?
on this ship?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, there is.
Yeah, there's an owl running around pecking people.
That's
Bite's probably chasing the olive owl,
Yeah.
probably.
The sound of scrabbling claws and scrabbling talons as the chicken is running from Bite, and Bite's chasing Archibald, and then eventually the owl and Bite's like hurls himself in the air to try to grab the chicken and lands.
Starry's up in the crow's nest.
Okay. Anything in
Does
particular
she-
you're...
Well, no, she took her 4 hours of rest, and now she's keeping watch for the rest of the night because what else is she gonna do?
She has to be as far away from the water as possible.
Just remember, if it capsizes, you're going to dip in the water.
I mean, yes, but I do have my grappling hook, so if I fall off, I can get back onto the ship by myself. Because I still have my
That's fair.
grappling hook. I'm good.
That's
Provided
good.
you don't keel haul yourself first, yeah.
Alright. See here. Anyway, no, I mean, she's up there, and she's kind of testing out how many different weapon shapes she can make with Raziel. Because the more she knows about this sentient weapon, the better.
You hear the sound of somebody climbing up the pegging on the mast up to the crow's nest. You see a strong hand reach over and like hoist themselves up onto the nest.
Mm-hmm.
Brugger is looking over at you, his tusk protruding up in his dark skin, the swarthy skin. He looks at you and goes, Apparently this spot's taken.
Are you trying to hide from somebody?
No. Why? What have you heard?
I don't know. What are you willing to tell me? I hear a lot of things.
I feel like this is a trap of some sort.
I wouldn't trap you. Almost nobody on this ship. Definitely not you.
All right. And he climbs uneasily into the crow's nest. I'm not hiding from anyone. I like to come up here. And I like to look at the sky.
It's nice. It's quiet.
That's why I like it.
Whatever that is. And she just kind of like looks over the edge of the crow's nest at the owl, which of course is flying around. And she's just like,
Why?
it's not even like it's a demon. Like it's not even mischievous in nature. It's an owl.
Why are you up here? Are you hiding?
A little bit of that. A little bit of keep myself as far away from the water as I can.
Why?
I can't swim.
And yet you willingly set foot on a vessel that's in the water.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is an actual ship. Last time it was what I would equivocate to a dinghy. Like it didn't even have sides. It was just an open platform with a sail, and I think they're called ballasts, but I mean, this has railings. And I can disappear below deck and then pretend like I'm not even on the ship. I'm really just trying not to think about the fact that I'm on the water.
Could also learn how to swim.
See, I could. But I kinda...
Are you afraid?
Now that's a loaded question. Am I afraid?
Well, I mean...
Yes! No, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I am bloody terrified. Because I can't swim. And we are so far out, my feet are definitely not touching the ocean floor. So it's not even like I can walk my way out.
I could teach you how to swim.
Would we not... Are we going to be able to keep up with the boat?
Sure.
Alright, well... I suppose... Everybody else is asleep anyway. Might as well. And then nobody can watch me fail. Or not fail, as it were.
Could do it by the dark of night, then.
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea. Thank you, Burger. I appreciate it. And then she'll just kind of like fall into casual conversation with him, learn a little bit more about him, how he came to be on the crew. None of which we actually have to RPM.
No.
Casual conversation.
No. He does tell you about his past and how his loyalty to Eleanor because of all the help that she gave him and how he tries to repay her for that.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, most of the ships of this size, they're going to travel because it's not quite a galleon. It's a little faster than that, so it's more like a
brigantine.
Even a brigantine is too big.
Schooner.
No. Bigger than a schooner. Oh, actually, no, it's
Scooters
still.
are pretty big.
Yeah, let's just say they're still pretty big because they're a multi-mast ship. I think probably. Give me 1 second.
Hmm.
Because I'm thinking. Probably more like a. No, it's definitely schooner size. Not even because a ketch is smaller than that, and a sloop is way too small for this. So I think more schooner size. You got 2 masts and like a 4.5 mast, head sail and mainsail, so forth and so on. All right. So yeah, he talks to you about certain things. He starts talking to you about how to like navigate in the water and like if you fall overboard, how to get yourself back around. Sora, the night passes. Other than the gentle rocking of the ship, there doesn't seem to be anything that trails off. However, there's the words from Eris kind of stick in your mind. Something about not being afraid of your heritage or leaning into your heritage, something like that. Especially the words that he said about your kin, and it just seems to stick with you and ring throughout, and seems to fill your thoughts.
She'll probably just kind of sit up a few hours later, just ruminate on that, and like, yeah, easy for you to say, buddy. You're a giant dragon.
Who's she talking to?
Just to herself.
There, as you start to drift, you're not sure when it was that you drifted off. Your eyes focus in, and you're not sure if you're dreaming or awake, but you can smell the scent of grass and forest and trees. You look around you and you're no longer surrounded by an ocean of water, but instead is an ocean of beautiful tall grass with forests like coastline in the distance. The grass sways in the breeze, looking like ripples of water as it moves. You can see you're standing in it just about chest high or so. There's movement behind you, and you don't see it so much as you feel it, and you turn to look, and it moves just out of your line of sight. You can see small humps rising in the grass like some sort of sea serpent. Eventually, you look around, and you feel like you're completely encompassed and coiled into it. You feel the walls of this creature, whatever it is, this great serpentine thing that's encircling you and has ensnared you on all sides, and it seems to be drawing its body in tighter and tighter, coiling around you. You can see it now just through the blades of grass, just beyond your line of sight. It shimmers green like emeralds, and it ripples in the sun. When you think it's going to close upon you, it stops. A figure steps from the grass. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
In Sylvan, she'll ask, What do you want?
The figure that steps forward is cloaked in an emerald robe that flows to the ground and disappears in amongst the grass, as though it passes through it, or the grass passes through it. It stands inconceivably tall, but at the same time normal, and yet you can sense the power in there. The hood is thrown back, and as the hood throws back, you can watch the head stretch up. Sylvan features on an androgynous face, eyes that are almond shaped that tilt up to the sun and shimmer in green. Great antlers on the head of this sylvan, elven-looking creature. A hand unfolds and long fingers that are slender simply reach out to you. The mouth doesn't move, but you hear a voice that says, "Why, my child, I only want what we've agreed upon. I have been kind to you. I have given you a modicum of my power. But I see that you grow stronger yet, even without me. Do you spurn my gifts to you?"
I have received gifts, but I have made no such bargain. This gift was given in a time of desperation. I agreed on no such recompense.
So then I should take them from you.
Or what would be considered a proper recompense, and we can negotiate.
I want to see you at your full height of power. You walk a line of fear. Trepidation, I can see it even now. You tremble like a yearling in the brush while the tiger hunts you. Don't you understand what you are?
I'm coming to understand new things about myself and learning new aspects, but wielding magic is like trying to ask a storm to behave. It takes time. I don't wield my magic like a wizard with a book. It's all heart and gut and thought, which I'm sure you know.
I am aware. I wish you no ill will, and I never will.
And I wish not to disappoint. But while we mortals are quick to unlearn things, as far as your timelines are concerned, it takes us a little longer in our... This is making no sense of my words. I'm attempting to learn new ways. I'm attempting to learn new ways. And she's kind of looks frustrated, like she's heard enough about Fae to know not to deal with them trifling. Like, it's like, I'm learning new ways. I will continue to learn new ways if your blessing continues to hold. But my heart has always been a protector and a healer, and one who helps my friends. My friends are very capable of causing mayhem and destruction on their own. I can support them.
You are right. You can. Do you fear what you are becoming?
I fear that I might not recognize myself at the end of it.
Would you have it taken away if you could?
No.
That is a good and right answer. I feel that there will come a time soon that your powers will be needed.
In regards to what? Our current destination?
Yes. The path you are on will lead you down treachery. Not deceit from anyone, just a dangerous place.
We all left Jopus Landing knowing it would be dangerous.
God. I wish to give you a boon.
What is the price of this boon?
When your time on on your world is done, you will entertain my courts. I will not usher your life any faster towards its inevitable end. No one will interfere preternaturally. We simply ask that you join us here.
When you say the end of my life, you mean old age, not say, should I fall in battle and my friends find a way to... My friends are stubborn. If my friends ask me back before my time, would you allow it?
No. But I would hear your plea. And if a case is made, perhaps. But in doing so, understand that we will grant you access to knowledge of all things.
And I'm disposed to receive the boon, I suppose. And hope that I can be convincing if the time comes.
I will let you choose how your gift is given. A gift of great knowledge, allowing you to understand things that even now you don't understand. Or a gift of magic, allowing you to cast without expending your resources in doing so.
When you say things I don't know, that covers a great many things.
You'll understand skills that you do not now. all the skills that you could draw upon, all the knowledge that you need, you would have them at hand. Or a boon of mastery over your spell casting.
The mission we are on is primarily for knowledge. If I can be of assistance there, I trust my friends to wield the power to protect me.
A wise choice. Knowledge it is, then.
Knowledge it is.
There is a touch on your forehead, and your mind is filled with just this overwhelming speed of everything, and you realize that your brain is opened up as you gain the boon of skill proficiency. You are now proficient in all skills.
Oh, damn.
As you start to come to, your head is feverish, your breath comes fast in your chest, and you hear the final words, remember, our courts call you home. Basically saying that whenever you pass away.
Yeah, she's still just like, wait, home?
Wait, home? What?
She's had a weird day. She's like, wait, you guys too?
Man, everybody try to lay claim to my ass.
I just want to make cakes and like play with my nieces and nephews.
Screw it. I'm going to go home and just make baskets. Fuck it. I'm done. Anybody got a teleport circle I can use?
There's not a teleport circle in Pineheart for her to go to.
Just catch the nearest one and catch the bus.
5 connector buses, a sled.
Oh, you have to know how
dogs.
the map works too, because if you don't know how the map route works for buses, you're just screwed.
You got to
All
take
right.
like 15 connectors.
Maddie, that face is somebody who knows all too well.
I used to take transit in Ottawa, which is arguably our worst transit system in Canada. And now I take transit system in Toronto, and it's better, but it's still a transit system.
Look, at least you have a transit system. I live in a city where it's like metro. What the hell is that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you call an Uber? So what are you talking about? You have a train system where you live, sir.
I didn't grow up here.
That's fair. That's fair. I was like, I know I can catch a train out of where you live all the way into Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The next morning, you all look and you can see Zora as you kind of like move around the ship. She looks a bit beleaguered, is the best way to say it. Her face is flush, and you can see like small beads of perspiration on her head. This lasts for a day or two before she finally seems to return to normal. As it goes, this is a story.
Mm-hmm.
You learn at least how to float, stay afloat.
My character's already doing better than me.
By kicking your feet, scissor kicking your feet in the water and moving your arms back and forth so you can float.
Spell of water wings.
Oh, man.
Brugger says, I am not a flotation device, in case you're wondering. His company is pleasurable. He's a quiet man. But, you know, he's not taciturn. He's just kind of quiet, and he just does what he does, and it's actually kind of nice. It's probably about 2 weeks since you set sail from Basra. As you are...
At some point between then, Satil is going to grab everybody and haul everybody into his room.
The small area that you can?
Yep. Everybody in.
Is everyone shoulder to shoulder?
Pretty cramped quarters.
Shoulder to chicken.
The chicken is out the window. Just imagine just like this bite just goes past the window as soon as the chicken goes at it. Like,
I
oh, look,
feel
there you go.
like Bite would also just scale walls with his claws. So, like, him going off the ship, there's no issue. He just comes right back on. Nobody knows how.
Oh.
Perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, he'll get right together. It's like, so, it's something I've kind of been working through since City. Did you know that the head of the city was best friends with my dad?
I mean, I don't think any of us would suspect that.
I didn't either.
Be honest, that's not where I thought you were going to go with that sentence. I thought you were going to go with, did you know the head of the city was a dragon?
Oh, I already knew that.
Oh.
He's the copper dragon.
And very old
'Cause
copper
they-
dragon, too.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Well, that's rude.
How is that
Oh,
rude?
no, it's true.
It's actually incredibly intelligent. I
Well, we
guarantee
didn't say
you, his
that.
hordes underneath his palace, or his horde is his entire group of people here. It's
The
incredible.
city might be his horde.
Mm-hmm.
The people are his horde. Like Barik.
Yes, but I don't think Bodek's a dragon. Sorry, we're off topic. No, we did not
Yes,
know
we
that
are.
the leader of the city would be friends with your father, because how would we possibly know that?
When you
Yeah,
were-
well, it's a lead-in. Now, hush and let me finish. My father contacted him after we left. He went and he'll reach into his back and he'll pull out the old hilt with the broken blade portion of it. He went and found the part of the blade in the wastes.
So that crosses one off our list.
It does.
The hardest one to find,
Yep.
apparently.
Yeah. Apparently, it was something that my father entrusted to him to protect and safeguard, to only give out to somebody that he trusted who would come for it.
Zora looking at it with the detect magic on.
It does not give you any magical. There's no magic to it.
We're very certain.
There was an immense amount of almost reality-bending weight to it.
To be fair, it may not give off any sort of magical aura, Zora, until it's all together again. Many broken magical items won't even hold or retain the magic that was in them.
Best case scenario, it's the potentially hardest piece of the blade to find off our list.
And does this sword have a name?
It's the blade of Meliandra.
Alright. Well, I happened to get us a spell. Something that might help us find the other pieces. Exactly locate the other pieces.
I'm familiar with it. I mean, it could certainly work. Since we have a part of it now, it might be possible, but typically you have to have seen the object you're trying to find.
What's the harm in trying? We
Oh, there's
waste
no
a
harm
little
in
bit
trying.
of components and a bit of time.
So I'm saying now that we have a part of it, it's possible. But
I mean, you can do the locate spell off of a good enough description.
One broken sword kind of looks like another, though.
Not always. Especially if the sword has a name, they tend to be very specific. There are things that define it as that particular sword. But either way,
Yeah.
we have 2 pieces left to find.
Ezra, I did warn your mother. Arixialmanas did give me some warnings for our trip. Arixialmanas? Oh, right, sorry. He introduced himself to you all as Aresa bin al-Sulaiman.
Okay, yes. He gave us a warning?
Several. To be wary of maelstroms around the archipelago. To avoid the strait as much as possible. If preferably at all. Just completely avoid it. And to beware an Olhadra.
All right. Well, if you've told her, then she has the information she needs.
Specifically, since I know, Zastara, you've been up in the crow's nest keeping watch. There's an area, a passage that'll be marked with the face of a man. He did say to find that, and that passage should be safe to pass through.
I'll make sure I keep my eye out.
I'm concerned with the creature he said to keep an eye out for. As he did mention, it would just, without warning, rip the boat apart.
But what is an Ohildra anyways?
Hail Hydra.
Do you... Okay, Curry. Do I need to make an Arcana check for that?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Calf, remember when I said the dice would fuck me over for that nat 20?
How bad?
A nat 1.
The dice giveth and the dice taketh away.
Yes.
Yep.
So I'm using the luck point from the sword, and I'm going to roll that again.
Okay.
That's better. 15. 28.
28.
Yes.
You're not that familiar with it. You think it might be related to the elemental plane of water, though.
It's... You know, I've read a lot back home, but it's not something that came up very much. Best I could tell you is it's related to the elemental plane of water.
That'll
So
be fun.
it's some
Just
form of elemental.
being on an ocean. That'll work out great for all of us.
But as I told him, forewarned is at a point forearmed.
So, on top of keeping an eye out for a passage marked with the face of a man, I should be watching out for a water elemental.
One potentially that is serpentine in appearance with a great deal of heads, if it's similar to a hydra at all.
Good to know.
Also, if it is similar to a hydra in any capacity, if you hack off any heads, be sure to use fire to
Cauterize the
wound. Otherwise, 2 more are going to grow right out of that stump.
That's not gross.
They are very dangerous magical creatures for that reason alone.
There is a pounding on the door. When it is open, you can see Seraphina, and she says, "We all need to get above deck. Come on!" And she rushes up
Help
the
put
stairs.
sword away and all that.
As you approach the top of the stairs, you can see ahead of you cliff faces. They're not islands or the cliffs that you're used to seeing. What you're looking at are large protrusions of rock that seem to be barricading a passage ahead of you. You can see lightning and rain falling ahead in the distance. Your captain looks at you and smiles, and she says, "We're nearly there. We just need to make it to the other side of the straits." And that's where we're going to call it tonight, with the party heading towards the straits and trying to navigate those next week. When we come back, that is where we'll pick up with the party trying to figure out how to go there. But so far tonight, a boon has been given, but with a minor cost to it. You've made a new friend. You got a friend in Copper Dragon. One piece of the blade that they weren't sure that they were even going to get was found. And it looks as though they are on the trail. But a mysterious something was left behind, and it wasn't fully revealed what was left there. I guess more and all of that will be revealed next time on the Escorts. That will be next Monday at 6 p.m. Central. In the meantime, tomorrow we do have Vampire the Masquerade coming up with Eric and Sarah playing their vampire characters. Then we have Wednesday night Monster of the Week with Q, and we have Steve, who is back playing, and Maddie, who is also playing their Monster Hunters. And then on... Nope.
Not this week.
No. Not this week?
No, I'm not there
no
this
monster.
week. No,
oh,
I'm not there next week.
Yeah. You're not there this week. Okay. No. And then on Thursday, are you going to be there Thursday? Nope. Okay. No Thursday night game for Descent into Avernus this week, but we will be back the following one as long as everything goes well.
Yeah.
But do tune in to tomorrow night's show and Wednesday night show because Monster of the Week and Vampire the Masquerade are a lot of fun. I need to figure out where I can get some time to jump back in on Monster of the Week because I know I've said it every week so far. We need to figure out when we can bring back because I know that everybody loves it when I play Monty. So, watch it be this week and Maddie won't be there.
I'm
She'd
gonna
be so pissed.
upset.
You'd be so pissed off.
I would show up. I wouldn't be on cam. I would just show up to just be on voice for that night.
Yeah. Just so you can hear Monty go, "Where the hell is my hat?" Anyways, thank you all once again for tuning in this evening. I have had an absolute pleasure. My name is Heath. I've been your DM. We do this every Monday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central. And as a matter of fact, all of our shows are 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central. And as we were playing, I just got word of a special event coming up in September that I'm going to be a part of through Baldman Games and something else. I can't give you more right now because I don't know, but keep your peepers open for that. Also, if you would, make sure you follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and Adventure Tomes. We are still working on that. The Kickstarter for that should be coming up soon. We've just got to get the artist is doing the last bit. We have the first journal up, but the box and everything else has been set up and ready to go. Once the Kickstarter drops, trust me, I will be pimping that thing so hard. Again, thank you all for the support, the love, and everything, and for being here and watching. I hope you guys had a great time. I know I did. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye, everyone.